Hello everyone, how's it going? How are we all doing? Happy New Year to you all. I can see that we're chatting away already. I'm curious to know how many of you are on your sick bed because there's quite a few people that have already said that they're not well. If you're not feeling so good, well, hopefully, I said to Michelle right at the very start of the chat, we can cheer you up a wee bit. I haven't touched any settings since the last live stream, but if you could just let me know if light, sound, etc. is okay, whether we need to tweak it a wee bit, you can let me know. Looking lovely this morning, Jem. Thanks, Danny. Fresh out the shower. I've got my wisdom tinsel on display. I've got this bit I was saying to Mr. Jem earlier, see in at my ear now here. That's just all grey there. I've got this massive strand and it's just grey. But embracing it. I've done well. I've mentioned this many times before, but Mama Jem was dyeing her hair by the time she was 23. That's how grey she was. And Papa Jem started going grey at 18, so if this is all I've got, that's fine. I just wish it would stay this way, but never mind. All good here, both in sound and video. Hello, Kerry. Thank you very much for letting me know. Oh, Thea's mum's got bronchitis. Oh no, Mrs. Soros. Well, please tell her I was asking for her and I hope that she's feeling better soon. And we've got Lorraine Riles. Lorraine, we haven't seen you for ages. It's nice to see you. See you. You know what I mean. Patty says, Mum says hello. Hi, Mrs. Patty Senior. Oh, Danny, don't worry. I stole it from someone. I was actually someone on here that called it wisdom tinsel, and I absolutely love that turn of phrase. I think it's very fitting. So yes. Susie's not well either, nursing mosquito bites. I take it you're back in Spain then. Would that be fair to say? You're not in Scotland. Yeah. Hey, Mrs. Patty. Yay. Oh goodness me! Right, so we've got a few sick people. The good news is that you can't catch it over the internet, so we're all good. Yes, you also know me as Lorraine Marshall. Yes, well, I didn't want to say that in case you didn't want to release that information, but yes. For those of you in the chat, Lorraine is one of my most frequent cave shop customers. She's a regular. I'm actually thinking about giving her like a season pass or something. Definitely a valued customer. And it's lovely to see you in the live stream though, because as I say, we don't see you that often, so I'm glad you could join us today. Thea calls it tinsel, didn't think of the wisdom though. Putting a picture on Discord of the bear we gave Mum. Yeah, that would be nice, Patty. I'll have a wee look at that later. Thank you. Hello, Artsy Endo. How are you doing today? Happy New Year to you. The Black Rose is doing okay, but still no hearing. Oh no. Oh, hi Nadia. I haven't seen you for ages either. Happy New Year to you, my dear. Thanks for coming in. My hair's always gorgeous. Well, I'm freshly washed today. That's why. This is what it looks like when it's been blow dried. Normally it's a lot wavier. International Sign Language for wavy. I was messing about this morning. I was hoping to have a little bit of time to start this sketch before the live stream started, but between running round hauling the Christmas tree down, fighting with the weather this morning, the weather has been absolutely horrendous here. We had no forecast of snow and it started to snow, but it was those big wet sloppy flakes. Like, it wasn't even sleet, it was just big bleh, snowflakes. Everything's soaking. The driveway's flooded. We can't actually get out the driveway unless you've got a decent pair of wellies on that go up to your knees. So yeah, there's that. So just between those things this morning and just trying to get a few bits and bobs sorted out and get some exercise in as well, I just ran out of time, and I thought, well, I'd rather be clean and have clean hair than have the sketch started, so, you know, priorities. Patty's tree's up till Monday. Yeah, I've got this thing. I like to, like, New Year's Day's like a reset for me. I love it. I've moved stuff about in the cave as well. Everything on this shelf over here, this shelf over here, that's all been moved about. You can see that the pencil, that's really difficult to point. The pencil light's moved down a shelf. That is Animal Crossing Lego that I have procured over the Christmas period. So that's all going to get built, and I've got a little kind of like Animal Crossing village going on there. and I've tidied up a lot of stuff, but I've also done like through the rest of the house as well. The only thing that's left is our outside Christmas lights, and I've left that job to Mr. Jem to do just now. So if we hear a crash in the next hour or so, don't worry, it's just him. That's fine, happens all the time. He usually likes to bang his head or cut his fingers. He's not really one for like falling off ladders, but there's a first time for everything, you know. Mirrie's all flooded again, not quite over the bridge. Yeah, you seem to get quite a lot of that, don't you? Hi Jan, nice to see you. Oh, Mirrie does the tradition of taking the Christmas stuff down in the 12th night. I just can't be arsed with that, honestly. Just like 1st of January. January is no longer Christmas as far as I'm concerned. Bish bash bosh. Get it done. 6 weeks yesterday, what, since you started with your infection, Black Rose? Oh, that's a long time to not have any hearing. Definitely. Okay, so plan for the first hour. I did leave half an hour. Like, we're going to run till 5:30 today. I just wanted half an hour to kind of catch up with everybody and, you know, just kind of shoot the breeze a wee bit. But we can get started. So the first hour or so, I want to work on what will be eventually a colour pencil drawing. But as I say, I didn't start the sketch outline before, so we're going to have to do that first. And the subject matter, if I just switch us about here. The subject matter is Mr. Chubs, who is my resident squirrel friend. So you can see I've got lots of reference photos of him here. And yesterday I took the time just to do a quick graphite sketch in my very poor sketchbook with its alcohol ink stains. But we've only got a couple of pages to go and then we're good. So I just wanted to have a wee shot with proportions and everything. It didn't start very well, especially with the body, but my second attempt there worked out a wee bit better. So I want to do a colour pencil version of him, and that is where we're going to start today. Around halfway through, we're going to take a quick break and I'm going to crack open the gouache paints and we're going to start our gouache painting as well, just because we can. Because I want to paint today. Don't know why. So that's kind of the plan. Happy New Year from a wet, soggy Midlothian. So Tartantilly's like in the county next door to me. I am East Lothian. We've got Mid Lothian, West Lothian, obviously. So I'm glad to hear that you're equally as wet as I am, Tartantilly. Did you get all that like sloppy snow earlier, or was it not as far over your way? Oh, you've got a bit of your hearing back, Black Rose. Well, that's better than nothing, I suppose. Lorraine's decorations fell down on Monday, so they got scooped up and put away. Not a terrible idea. Oh my gosh, she's chonky cute. Well, it's quite interesting because there's been another squirrel kicking about, and he's very distinctive because on one side he's more or less got no ear at all, but the tufts of hair that grow out from their ears are still there, and in the other ear he's got like a massive notch missing out of it, so he's obviously been a bit of a scrapper, and he has bullied Mr. Chubs away from the feeder, and it's just the one with his ears missing that comes now. But Mr. Chubs is still bouncing about the garden and burying things in the grass and all sorts. So I think there's obviously been a hierarchy overthrow attempt there. So that's quite interesting. But Mr. Chubs is super fat, like he really is. So I don't think it's going to do him that much harm to not be able to get into this feeder here. But the little one, I've just been calling him Tufts. He's here. He comes in the morning. He's like me, he's an early bird. Once the little birdies have been first thing, he comes in and sits for a little while, but he sits in the feeder like he squishes himself in, but he's very timid. The minute I move, he sort of darts off, but he's only been coming a week or so, so we'll give him time, and I think he'll probably chill out a wee bit and I'll be able to watch him a little bit better, which would be nice. Hi Marilise, how are you? Happy New Year to you, nice to see you. So clearly Van Gogh is squirrel, because he's missing an ear. Okay. Happy Moo Year, Ulrika. I usually think of him as Vince. I think we should just let's call him Vinny. I think Vinny's probably a more suitable name for a thug-ish squirrel that's missing an ear, but that obviously still ties in with your idea. I think Vinny's a good name for him. We'll maybe draw Vinny at a later date. Yes, so the stuff that I've got here, whether or not we get round to it's another matter entirely. Hello April, nice to see you. Happy New Year to you. Oh, Patty's back as well. She's had her breakfast. The paper that I'm going to do this on is the Strathmore 400 coloured pencil paper. I've got very few pads of paper that I would use for this, because normally when I'm doing colour pencil stuff I just do it in my sketchbook, unless it's a commission obviously. I quite like this paper. There's other papers I like better, but this drawing isn't really for anything apart from myself. So this is pretty good. You can get some good layering with it, and it's 9 by 12, but I've cut a sheet in half, so obviously it's not 9 by 12, but it's just a better size to work on for the camera, and also for the fact that I'm not actually doing anything with it, if that makes sense. In terms of pencils, my sketching pencil is just an F grade pencil. This Artful one's one that sits in my wee tub here, so it's quite handy. And the sketch that I did in my sketchbook here, I used the Blackwing Palomino pencil. Again, this is just one, it's a much darker, smudgier pencil, and for working over these accidental splodges, obviously it just showed up a bit better, and I could work out my shading, you know, my darker areas, whereas you can't really do that with an F pencil. So that's what I had been using. And in terms of coloured pencils, again, if we get that far, we probably won't get very far into it, but we've got the big guns out for this one. This is my fancy pencil case. It doesn't show up very often in the videos, because I tend not to use these pencils for adult colouring. But if I open this side, it's very summery, flamingos and cacti and whatnot. On one side I have my very favouriteest pencils in the world, which is the Derwent Lightfast ones. But if I flick it the other way and open up this side, I have the Caran d'Ache Luminance. I like the colours in this set. There's some very unique colours that are handy, especially if you're doing things from nature, but pencils generally, I prefer the Derwent ones to the Luminance ones. I just seem to, I don't know, they just sit better with me. So they are all in there. It's a massive pencil case. That's where we're going, because I hardly ever use my fancy pencils. When I use the fancy pencils, they are extremely expensive though, so you know, I just don't feel, it's not that I'm precious of them or anything, but I just rather not use them in colouring books. I would rather keep them and use them for their intended purpose, which is obviously to be light fast. So if you're displaying something, or, you know, again, commissions, I tend to use them for commissions. What papers would you recommend? Honestly, I don't have any recommendations for paper. I was going to ask you all the same thing. I've tried loads of different papers, and honestly, I end up going back to cartridge paper. Someone did give me a couple of brands. Stonehenge paper, does that ring up? Does that even make sense? Did I make that up? Someone said that's really good, but it's really expensive. Ooh, Luminance and Lightfast. Start off the year strong, April. So many, yeah, it's a lot of pencils. And to think my fancy pencils are my polychromos. Well, to be fair, they would categorise for me as fancy pencils, but they're just more affordable fancy pencils than the Derwents. Luminance and Lightfast really are exceptional. Well, yeah, and the thing is, you're paying for the light fastness of them, and they're high quality pencils. They really are. I would put Polychromos in that same category, but I've just become so used to them being like my everyday pencil. And again, with the Polychromos, you know, you build sets up over time. It was actually Thea that helped me finish my Lightfast collection. I started buying those Lightfast pencils individually years ago, and I think, was it last year, Thea, you got me like the last however many it was I needed to finish it off. So it's been very slow, but they are very expensive, and I didn't feel it was something I needed necessarily to progress my artwork or use them for commissions, because I already had the Luminance pencils. Oh, Patty's had Stonehenge paper, so I didn't make that up. That's good. Do you have the Derwent sketching pencils with colours perfect for animals? But I like your posh pencils choice. Yeah, I've got some of the Derwent drawing pencils, you mean, Jan? Yeah, I've got them as well. They are very earthy colours. They're great for landscapes as well, especially things that you don't think of, like see old stone bridges and stuff. Do you know who else really likes those pencils? Julia. She absolutely loves the Derwent drawing pencils. The Sunday pencils. Oh, Mary uses the Strathmore 400 paper. Thea did a portrait of her second cousin on our shape. Yeah, I wouldn't use hot pressed paper, too smooth. Yeah, have a doodle, Nadia. That's kind of what this is for. Like, we're just here to hang out today, like no pressure or anything. I mean, I'm probably not going to get very far with this today, but that's not really what it's for. We're here because it's New Year and we just want to hang out. Yeah, the Thea for my birthday, she made sure to finish the set. JRM, is Junior M, can I call you that? The Me Tint paper, yeah, I haven't tried that. I've tried that paper, but not one for sketching. I was using it for something else. Was it pastels, maybe? That's a good shout though, I've got some of that paper somewhere. Polychromos are affordable fancy pencils. Fun and fluff pencils, yeah. Artsy in reality doesn't need the light fastness, but the Derwent light fastest colours that I don't have in other pencils. I just like the feel of them. Like, see, when I'm using them, I find like if you compare the luminance with the light fast, I always feel like the luminance pencils feel quite dry in comparison. But again, I'm much more of a fan of oil-based pencils anyway, and they just feel much nicer to use. And I am a very tactile person, and I talk about it with art supplies all the time. Like, see how something feels under my hand, like a paintbrush, or you know, when you're using a marker, like that's something that has to appeal to me. And I find that, not, I wouldn't say it's an unpleasurable experience with the luminance pencils, but if you've been using the light fast pencils and you switch to luminance pencils, they do feel quite dry. Lorraine got some Inktense pencils for Christmas, and no, I was not a good kiddo. The light fast have such a weird texture. Yeah, I love it. Thea's such a polychromos lover that every other pencil feels yucky. No, they don't feel yucky. They don't feel yucky. I knew, like, the very first time, and I think the first light fast pencil, I think it was in a scroller box, and the very first time I put the pencil down on the paper, I was like, oh. I was like, oh no, this feels good. I'm in trouble. Like, I loved them from the second I tried them. Mary's with me, you like the texture of the light fast pencils, yeah. Tartantelli says the first time that they tried a luminance pencil, you had to check they weren't pastel pencils. Yeah, like that's what, yeah, like I understand that. Yeah, but the thing is though, it's horses for courses. You know, we're talking about 3 very high-end artist grade pencils, and it's a lot of it's just down to preference. And you know, the same goes for the mid-range pencils as well. And I use the mid-price pencils a lot. Some of my favourites, I really like the Castle Arts gold pencils. They're lovely to use. And an old favourite's the oh god, what are they called? The Arteza pencils as well. They're great, and I think they're a really nice middle ground between, in terms of firmness, between like a Prismacolor and a Polychromos. Like the Arteza are kind of like on the softer side of the Polychromos, but not as soft as a Prismacolor, and they've got a great colour range as well, and they're quite reliable. So, you know, like, you know, and when it comes to budget pencils, now again, you guys have seen all my videos, like I've done videos in Crayolas, not a problem, not a thing, but obviously it's nice to have expensive pencils, you know, if that's your jam, like me. Endo thinks the luminance feel a wee bit scratchy as well. Have you tried the Pablos by Karen Dash? Oh, JR, okay, yeah. I might try that. Yes, okay, JR. I will try that just as a wee experiment. I know a lot of people use pastel paper for coloured pencil. I might give that a wee bash. Thank you, I appreciate that. Ulrika's been using her polycolours. Yeah! Again, I like polycolours. It's such an unsung hero. They're great pencils. I really like them. I don't have a set of them, but I like them. Minnie's also a fan of the Black Widow pencils. I didn't really like them. I tried them. I tried to like them and I didn't get very far with them. Well, thanks for popping in, Susie. It was lovely to see you. Go for a wee snooze. It's fine. We'll catch you next time. Enjoy the rest of your 1st of January. The Pablos are nice. They're a bit softer than the Luminance. Like they're not as dry, and they've got some really interesting colours as well. If he is waiting for Castle Arts to put the Harmonious set on Amazon. Oh yeah, that's the other thing, guys. Tell you what, here. I've got a bloody cheek after the last stream. I didn't drink last night. I didn't even stay up for the bells last night. I was in bed by, I want to say 11 o'clock. I was just really tired yesterday. Mr. Gemini sat and binge watched a programme called The Walk-In. There's like 5 episodes, and I think it was on ITV originally, but it's not something that we would normally watch, and we actually really enjoyed it, so we just watched that and then went to bed. It was a very quiet one. So Happy New Year, guys. Right, okay, I'm gonna pick up my pencil. I'm gonna make a start here and move this over. So I'm not going to draw my outline from this. I am going to use my reference images here, because if I do this, then it's a bit like taking a photocopy of a photocopy. You might end up, you know, in not a good place. So we'll use the reference images instead. Hasn't the Harmonious exclusive to their site? See if they are. I'm going to buy them. I quite like them. But I'd seen someone, we talked about this before, someone had mentioned them and I hadn't heard about them, so I would check that out. The Amazon Basics pencils, let's talk about those. Actually really good pencils. I did a review video on them, I think that was at Christmas time. That might have been 2 years ago, or was that last year? Yeah, no, I think, oh, was it? No, because I didn't put anything out last year. It must have been the year before, and I was very pleasantly surprised by them. I liked them a lot. And again, if you're not, you know, if you're not in the market for artist grade pencils, they're very respectable and they're absolutely dirt cheap. Right, let's get some. The problem is I don't even think I want feet in here, honestly. I'll zoom this in a wee bit. I just want these kind of like dumpy bum, because I wanted this pose specifically because when I go up to the window, that's what he does. He sits up and he puts his like he tucks his little feet in, like. But I kind of want to, like, I want his bottom part to spread out to show how chunky he is. So I don't know whether I'll maybe put some grass or something at the bottom, but I just have to sort of decide where I'm putting him here. Maybe on the top. Start that. Do you know, I'm terrible at this. Like, I genuinely, as someone who's been drawing for like 7 years, 8 years. See, when it comes to sketching stuff out and getting the proportions and everything right, I'm terrible at it, because I like just to work on a section at a time and then like work my way down. It doesn't always work out that well though. Right, so let's say the top of his head's there, and then I'll have an ear here. And then get his fat little face in. Not streamlined, it's built for comfort, not for speed. Right, so if that was his face, I think that's too big. You'll see. Then his wee shoulder would come down here. He might disappear off the bottom of the paper if I do this. Oh, that noise was a bird hitting the window. Which means there's either fighting going on or someone, it wasn't violent enough for it to be someone flying into the window, like into the glass. Yeah, that's going to be too big. In saying that though, because that would put the bottom of him there. And then I can just have his tail. That's okay, that's not bad. I'm gonna go with that. I'm gonna go with that. I think last year, was it, Theo? Bacardi and Coke. Oh no. Bacardi's my I can't drink that ever again drink. I had a very, very nasty and unfortunate incident with a bottle of it when I was about 15, 14. Can't even smell the stuff. Terrible stuff. You carry on though. It must have been early. Yeah, I think it was. Somebody will have to go back and check. I'll do it later. Someone needs to check the Castle Arts pencil situation for us as well. Thea's saying that she doesn't have any money to buy pencils just now, but to defend herself she had to have the Lego poinsettia plant. That's funny. I was actually really surprised at Mum and Papa Jem and Mr. Jem were asking after the charity stream, and I was saying to them that it went really well, and I was surprised at the number of you that actually have a bit of a Lego fetish as well. I didn't realise there was so many of you that were into Lego, which was really nice for me because I kind of thought I was on my own with that one. I saw it by accident. It was drilling before my brain had a chance to catch up. Jan's got a headless kingfisher. Bag 4 tonight. You go, Jan. Jan's is rum and black. Okay. It was last year. Excellent. Lorraine's unfortunate drink is Southern Comfort. Okay. I quite like a Southern Comfort. It's very sweet though. It's not something I could drink all the time. What are we checking for? They're on offer at $34.99 at the moment. Miri, what's that for? We've talked about quite a few things. Is that the Castle Arts pencils you were talking about? Or the Amazon Basics? No, that's too expensive for the Amazon Basics pencils. I already checked. It says 1 year ago. Yeah, but that could have been like a year and a half ago, or it could have been like 9 months ago. It still says a year ago. Amazon pencils were October 2023. Okay, so it was before last Christmas. Thank you, Ulrika. April's taking a muscle relaxant. We've been warned. That sounds like fun. Ah, that's magic. My Harmonious at $34.99 bargain. I think we're just gonna have to go and have a wee look at those. Is that on the Castle Arts website, Miri? I'm gonna write this down. It's been ages since we've had a pencil review, because I think the Amazon Basics would have been the last one. Jan says this in no way will be a car crash, but if it helps you, that's just fine for April. Yeah, they only sell them via their website, but they don't ship to Austria. Even the German website doesn't. Germany only. That's strange, isn't it? Yeah, Thea, we can send you a set. Like, if I can send you a set, Miri can send you a set. We'll sort that out. When you're ready, we'll get a set to you. Don't you worry. Got to help out the fellow pencil monsters. Right, okay. Let's start to... His head's far too wide. It can end up looking like a chipmunk. I suppose they are chipmunks with bushy tails, aren't they? Right, so I kind of need an eye. Top of the eye is the bottom of the ear. It's the little house sparrows I can hear. They're the ones that come in like massive groups. I'm talking about the birds at the feeder, by the way. They come in massive groups of like usually 4 or 5, and then they all like argue amongst themselves, and like, you know, there's plenty for everyone. Calm down. Yeah, and then later. There you go, Thea. You've got lots of offers of help if you want them. We'll be ready. Of course, we're in no way enabling you. I'm going to avoid the Lego store, I promise. That's it. We're going out. We're going to go into Edinburgh on Friday, and we're not going. We're not going for that purpose. But Mr. Jem doesn't know this yet. But we're going to the Lego store just because I can. That's a really good point. Black roses in Germany. But then, yeah, that would work. Jan needs to go to the Lego shop in Leeds. Don't do it, Jan. Don't do it. Thea's beat me to it. Right. Lego and stuff. Lego and things. Well, I'll definitely not be buying any for the foreseeable on account of having all the Animal Crossing sets to build. I've still got the boutique hotel as well. I've got that to build, and that's a big build, so that's going to be substantial. That's one of those ones that I'll do over, like, you know, over a period of time. I need to make sure I get his little fat chin in. He has his face, like, even like he's all face round here. Normally squirrels are quite kind of like chiseled round their chins, but no, not ours. But see, he's been helping himself for months now, so it's gonna happen. So his face actually ends there, like there-ish. There-ish. When I'm doing this as well, I like to pop in just like little marker lines for myself, like see if there's any specific changes in the fur colour, or, you know, like the markings on the actual coat. I like to sort of just give myself a little pencil line there, so that if I do start getting carried away with like fur texture, I know that I can like metaphorically draw a line and call that like a section, if you like. So his nose is somewhere like around there. And then he's got his little mouthy bit. Okay, I think I've maybe done him a little bit dirty here. I don't think his chin's that big. Sorry, Chubs. He was my favourite though, because he was like borderline friendly, whereas Vinny's not so friendly. But I see that might come in time though. Might come in time. I'm not entirely sure about my eyeball sizes here. I think that eye needs to be bigger. Yeah, I think that's better, and this one's just not quite. Okay, that's better. And he's got a very distinct, like white mark. This is my favourite picture. He's got very distinct white parts like round the bottom of his eyes as well, so I want to make sure I get those in. He's actually holding something. He's got like a peanut or something in there. I don't know what he's got. I did literally, I sat and sifted through all the videos and everything I'd taken, trying to get like a perfect still of him, like in a good pose. Oh, somebody else is on the Legos at Patty. I may or may not visit Legoland in Orlando in March. Oh yes, please do. You can come down, we can go together. Thea almost fell out of her chair when she saw what those buildings you have cost. Yeah, a lot of them are retired sets. They are very expensive because obviously they're getting rarer and rarer. I hold out and buy the ones that are complete, that have the instruction manual and also have the original box, because they do increase in value the rarer that they become, obviously. So I see it as an investment. It's not just because I want to build Lego, and I won't buy a set that's badly damaged, or what I would say a set that's been played with, you know, if it's actually belonged to kids, and a lot of the bricks are like chewed up and scratched or dirty. Like I pay the good money for the good ones, and they'll be kept. Like all my boxes are like all sealed away and everything. But yeah, my collection's it's worth a bob or two now. April's just had an email, and there's one that says New Year, new Lego sets. Yeah, I got that email too. I was like, actually cannot justify spending any more money on Lego right now. Black Rose wants Diagon Alley. It looks really cute. I'm not a Harry Potter fan, but it does look really good. At space as well, yeah, that like that's the other factor. Like I'm only getting to the point now behind me. I've got a space. I'll come this way. I've got a space for Bowser elsewhere. So he's going to be coming off the shelf there, and he's going to be moving on to like this wall that the camera's on. Because I've got the Nintendo Entertainment System to build, and I found out that the controller fits in Bowser's hand, so he will be playing Mario on a shelf on this side of the room. So that gives me space there. I'll probably only get one more modular building up there, which will be the boutique hotel, and it's quite a big set. So that'll be like, that's me out of space, and obviously my Animal Crossing Legos going on that one. So until my extension's built in the room next door, which is the smallest bedroom, until like all that's done, I don't have any more space to display any more Lego. So I'll either have to start dismantling sets or just not build any for like the next 12 months, and we all know that's not going to happen. So you know, quite the quandary, and it's a very nice quandary to have, I have to say. He looks a bit like Mr. Burns in that picture. Excellent. Imagine giving a $300 Lego set to a kid that chews on pieces. It happens all the time. Like, it just happens. The Millennium Falcon is one of the most expensive sets, like, full stop. I would never, ever, ever want to build it because it's all grey bricks. Like, that would be my worst nightmare. That and the Colosseum, because it's really, really repetitive. Someone bought they did like a 5 foot tall Eiffel Tower not that long ago, and a lot of people didn't buy it. Number one, because it was really expensive, but secondly, the space that it takes up. Like, you have to have a space in your house where you're going to put it. And again, very repetitive, lots of grey bricks. That's not fun to me. I don't like that. I like the things like, I built the bookshop. I did that, like, you know, between Christmas and New Year. And I like all the funny things, like finding out there was like a small kind of like cellar level in the townhouse that's next door to the bookshop. Like, they come together, and in that space there's a mouse trap with cheese on it. Like, I love that kind of stuff, because you know, you don't see that on the box in the pictures or anything, and it's just something you find out as you build. I love all that kind of stuff. The other one was, I couldn't figure out why there was a spoon in the police station, and it's in the jail cell, and someone's procured a spoon and is trying to dig their way out of the jail cell. Really funny. Like, just stuff like that makes it fun. Jan builds them and then puts them away, but the kingfish will be on display. That's a really nice set to have on display, Jan. The Lego extension. No, the extension's going to be a new utility room, and it's making my kitchen bigger. But just now our dining table, which is a big farmhouse kitchen table, is in that spare room because there's nowhere else for it to go. So no, we're not building an extension specifically for Lego, but it's going to free up that room, which we're just making into not a junk room, but Mr. Gem's got like Funko Pops and stuff. You know, we want somewhere to put stuff like that, and obviously I'll have more Lego space, so that'd be good. Chipmunk hands are adorable too. But the Colosseum is Roman, and you know my obsession. Jan, see if you actually got the Colosseum and built it, I would like tip my hat to you. I can't think of anything more painful. Yeah, Tudor Corner, that's the new set that's just come out. That's like their new building this year. It's really nice as well. I will be getting that at some point, but that will probably be near the end of the year, I would imagine. Yeah, Kerry, that's mostly what I build, is the modular buildings. They're all up behind me there. You keep telling Mr. Jim that Lego extension. Well, that's the limit though. Like, I don't want Lego all over the house. Like, that's not what I want. But I would like to be able to display what we've got. Right. Okay. I'm kind of happy with Mr. Chubs's face proportions. We'll worry about whiskers later. Now let's see. Again, he's got like, see, because he's so fat, his shoulder bumps like very over exaggerated, and then his wee elbow. And his chest fluff like sits over the top of his arms when he does that. I don't know whether that's fat or just fluff, or it might be a bit of both. That's hilarious. Ulrika just said the magic word and she's activated Jan and Pam. Jan and Patty. I think Patty's gonna have a fit. Please expand on that, Ulrika, before she like internally combusts. Again, not a Doctor Who fan at all, so y'all can have a chat about that amongst yourselves. Right, that doesn't look right at all. I think that needs to come out about there. Shh. That's those sparrows. We've got a new bird as well. We get all the sort of, you know, the usual suspects. You know, we've got chaffinches and all the tits. But there was this little bird that landed, and I had no idea what it was. And I thought I'm gonna have to look that up and find out what the deal is. And it turns out it's a nuthatch, and the nuthatch is the only bird that can climb down a tree trunk head first. So if you watch if that's your tree trunk, if you watch other birds, if my finger is their head, if they want to go down the way and they're hanging on, they'll hop down like this. The nuthatch will go down face first. And now that I know that, I noticed that when it's at the peanut feeder that hangs in the tree, it hangs upside down and eats, so its tail and its bum's pointing like up in the air and it's pecking away, and it pecks like a woodpecker. It goes da 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 da. It's such an interesting wee bird, and beautiful colours as well. I didn't even know that was a thing until it appeared at my feeder and went, oh, what are you? So there you go. So I've got an upside down bird. It came with Daleks and weeping angels. It's Mr. Chubs knocking on the window to join in. Ah. Okay, Lorraine's all in about the Lego as well. That's hilarious. They really are. They're really pretty wee birds, Jan. I like them. They're super cute. Super, super cute. I need to fix my... Hands are a problem. Squirrel hands are no exception. I found that out yesterday when I did that little sketch. Like, If you've ever seen the inside of their hands though, they've got little pads which are obviously for grip, but they come like all the way up to like here. They're fascinating. That's more of an angle. And this one's like foreshortened on this side from my reference picture. Again, he's pretty fluffy out there. Pretty fluffy. And also, this needs to be over a bit. His, yeah. Like there. Because the angle that his head at isn't exactly square on, so that this eye is more of a side view and this one's obviously like it's come round this way, so his nose needs to go over a bit as well, but it's quite subtle. Like if you look at the picture, it's not that noticeable until you start looking to you know, to do something like this and you're like, well, hang on a minute here. So I think maybe there is probably still not far enough over. This is what I'm saying, like I'm terrible at this part of, and everyone's like, oh, you use the Loomis method, and I'm like, no, just can't be bothered. I'm very much a person that just likes to figure stuff out as I go along, and I mean most of you know that just by watching my videos, but I think you learn, like it's good to have a technique, and I'm not bashing things like the Loomis method, but I don't know, I just like to find things out for myself, and I've always been that way. It just makes it more fun. That still looks really central. It's slightly that way, but not much. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. It doesn't look that off. But when I look at my other sketch, it does. Come on, Jem. It's like there. Okay, I think I've got it now. Okay, I'm a bit happier with that. I have made his face extremely fat. Slim those cheeks down a bit. Even if he's got something in his pouches, I still don't think they're going to be that fat. But to be fair, every time I've caught him, he's been at the feeder, he's eating, so kind of tracks. Okay, a bit happier with that. So and then they've got this little cute thumb, and then this wee finger. Again, like I'm like fingers. This is like the neurospicy bit. I'm like, yeah, fingers, whatever. Details, what do you need them for? Like little kiddie stick fingers. Okay, I feel like I'm getting somewhere now. We might actually get onto coloured pencils yet. Yeah, they are cute, aren't they, Theo? So they're really, really delicate colours. $300 on eBay. Nope. What was that for? Is that for the TARDIS patty? 518. Blech. A method for art? Nah. Yeah, me too. Lorraine, I have that fear all the time. See, because I buy the retired sets quite often, they're second hand. And that is a real possibility, and it's happened. You see, if you're dismantling a set like that, little pieces go missing, and you kind of expect it, but you know, to the person's knowledge that's selling it, and I have to say, most of the sellers I've dealt with are really decent. They'll offer to replace bits if there are any missing, but it's maybe only going to be a little bit here and there. But that fear is real all the time. Lorraine thought, Chan thought that Lorraine was helping a child. Most men aren't they? I find that mildly insulting as a Lego person. Right, okay, anyway, let's just carry on here. I'm really enjoying the Lego chat. Okay, so the bottom of his leg's going to be there. I'm very off now, but I've come this far. So we're not actually going to use this line. This is just like an action line for me so that I know where his knee joint is, which comes to like there. Because that's mostly floof at that point, and floof and fat. And there's a little bit in there. But see, it just kind of disappears off at the bottom here because you know, the windowsill cuts them off in all the pictures I've got. Which, I mean, it's fine. It's fine. And then this bit comes like there. Okay. I feel like his body, yeah, his body is a bit on the long side, to be fair. Take that further up. Over there. And see, tail's going to be there somewhere. I actually have to like take a step back, because it's interesting as well with squirrels, when you see them at full stretch, they are really long. Like if you see one running like on flat ground, and because they kind of like boing boing boing, they're actually really lengthy, but they seem to be able to like concertina themselves up into like this little floofy round thing as well. Like they're very I was going to say malleable, that sounds a bit torturous, but do you know what I mean? They're capable of like squishing themselves into wee fat shapes, but also very long and skinny shapes as well. They're a bit like mice that way. It must be a rodent thing. Looking good so far. Well, it's a start. Photos in Discord. For anyone that's in the chat here that isn't on Discord, if you want to join the Discord, let us know, please. It's not exclusive or anything. It used to be a perk of the membership that I had for the channel, and since we've disbanded that, the Discord's kept going. So if you are a Discord user and you want to join in, please just give us a shout. The more the merrier. Squirrels bounce, they don't run. Well, they kind of combine the two. The Matt Smith Lego Doctor has a fez. That doesn't mean anything to me, but anything with a fez is good in my book. That went down far too easily, that. Tell Pepsi. Oh, can I get all that in there? Yeah. Pretty good. Pretty good. Right, okay. I'm fairly happy with that, and literally that is all I will do in terms of graphite pencil. I don't take it any further than that. There's no point. I do have a friend, I'm sure I've mentioned him before, and I've talked about his sketchbook before. See, if you look through his sketchbook, it's basically finished pictures on every page. He cannot, let's see, if he was doing a commission, he couldn't do this in a sketchbook and then start the drawing for the client. He would have to have a fully rendered image, because he has to know every single step before he does it, and it results in an absolutely beautiful sketchbook. Like, you guys have seen the inside of my sketchbook, it's an absolute car crash. I don't feel the need to go into the fine details, and it's the same when I'm doing, you know, like a base layer sketch like this. I'll work the details through as I go. He absolutely cannot do that. Like, he's not physically capable of it, but his sketchbook is absolutely beautiful. But he wastes a lot of hours on that before he'll start like a commission or whatever. So it's a double-edged sword. I'm a little bit jealous, but in another way I'm like, nah, screw that. Like, I don't have the brain capacity to do that. Again, it's highly suspicious that it's a neurospicy thing. Like, great at bigger picture stuff, but when it comes to finer details, I'm like, yeah, whatever. And the way that I get around that when I'm actually like working in pencil is just to concentrate on a tiny little section at a time. And I'm able to take things through to completion, but it's something I'm very, very guilty of, and it's something that I want to work on with my colour pencil skills this year. Half of it comes from not having enough patience, and the other half of it is because I'm frightened to overwork a piece and get it to a place where it's too far gone and I can't, you know, I can't wind the steps back. But there's a lot of pieces that I think I could take further to make it look more polished, to make it look more finished, and I don't do it. And it's those two things that make me not do it. So I'm going to try and kind of like refine my end of piece skills a bit more this year, and that's something, you know, I said in the video yesterday that I want to work on my pencil skills. That's something very specific that I need to work on, and I know it's there. I recognise it. And I'm also, I want to ignore, not ignore, I want the time constraints of filming videos to not be a factor in the work that I do. I'm very much, you know, I've got an afternoon to film this, so I need to draw something or paint something that I can do in a couple of hours. I'm not doing that this year. That served me well last year for what I wanted to achieve. If things take me 2, 3, 4 afternoons, because I have like this slot in the afternoon after I finish my proper job, I've got a couple of hours before I have to start doing other stuff. Sometimes it's I have to use that time for shop orders. You know, there's certain days of the week I do that kind of thing. But I do have a couple of afternoons a week. So you know, even if it is only 2 hours, I'm going to use that time and just try and take my time a bit more and really pay attention. Not only pay attention, but execute what I'm looking at when I pay attention. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Yeah, so that's kind of my thinking with the New Year's resolution side of it. And I mean, obviously I enjoy pencil work. I'm a pencil monster. Right, okay, so talking about Mr. Chubs now, one of the things about him is He's got a lot of red on him. You can't really see in these pictures, but he has a lot of red. See these kind of like, they look like paler parts. This is quite ginger. Round his mouth is quite ginger, and round the tops of his ears as well, and under his elbow is also like that as well, and he's got quite a lot of red in his tail. So that's something that I'm going to try and pull in. So I'm going to start with a couple of base colours. Those look like art books though. Yeah, it doesn't look like, you look at it and you're like, this is your sketchbook. April's terrible at detail. That's why April paints abstract. Jan's joining me with the JD but didn't measure, and it's a good one. Does good one translate as strong, Jan, or as in it's just right for you? Hey DB, Happy New Year to you, welcome. Peach flavoured whiskey. God, that sounds painful. Right, okay, let's find the... all the graphy tints and ink tenses. The Albrecht Dürer watercolour pencils, and that is a set of pencils I never use, like ever. I just don't have a thing for watercolour pencils, but for some reason I don't want to, like, I don't want to part with them. They just sit in their original tin. They're not even in a pencil case, they're in their original tin. I just have no use for watercolour pencils, they're not my thing. Not my thing at all. Right, here's the luminance. Where's my light fasts? Oh, they're here. So I think there's another page of light fasts as well. I don't know where they've gone. Never mind. It doesn't matter. Right, okay. What do I want? I don't know what I want. This is the problem. For the ginger bits, I kind of want a reddish colour. But I'm looking at these here. I feel like the Mars orange might be a good colour because it's kind of like heading into brown almost, because they're not like really ginger patches. And you just have to believe me in that, but you can see, like, when he's close up you're like, oh, he's got red in him. Maybe the Persian on, maybe a combination of all of these pencils. And also something darker, maybe chocolate as well. You can still use them as a pencil without adding water. Thea's talking about the Albrecht Dürers. Yeah, but they're exactly the same colour as the polychromos, so I would just use the polychromos. Black grouse whiskey, oh my goodness. I actually can't stand whiskey at all. I'm with Jan. Yeah, it's just rotten, absolutely rotten. Gem corrupted me with JD. Corrupted's probably a good phrase. Canadian whiskey, neat whiskey. DB quite likes watercolour pencils. Still want to get the Albrecht Dürer, but they're so expensive. Yeah, they are. I'm just not, it's just not a thing for me at all. Right, okay, in terms of grey colours, well, we're kind of spoiled for choice with the grey colours, but he is more of like look at the face, but you can see that he's very very pale in places, and it's almost like a light bluish grey. So this platinum colour I think would probably be quite a good shout as a starting point. So I'm gonna whip that out. Platinum. So I'm gonna go with platinum, and I'm gonna grab this granite. See, the midnight black in this set's got quite good bluishness to it as well. I would probably use that for some darker areas. Right, let's whip out the midnight black as well. And the granite. Now, I'm going to take the Mars orange The burnt sienna is too orangey. I'm not really convinced about any of these colours, honestly. Let me look at the luminance pencils. Like Castle Arts Pastel Tint. I love those pencils too, they're so nice. Yeah, right, okay. So, see the burnt ochre 50%. That's very, very like the sandstone though. The terracotta... Decisions. The burnt ochre's too dark, so maybe the burnt ochre 50%. Mars, right, let me get the Mars orange just while I'm here. Where are you? Mars orange. Oh. And the Persian orange. Out of that set, and then I'm going to grab the burnt ochre 50% from the luminance side, and I say that because it's obviously the opposite side of the pencil case for me. Yeah, I had a separate piece of paper that had the Derwent pencils in a completely different order. They were in the order that I bought them in, like just roughly swatched out. And I seem to refer to that more weirdly. I don't know why. I don't know what's wrong with me with that. Right, okay. Burnt ochre. The other thing I don't like about the luminance pencils, and please tell me if this is just me, I find the writing on some of them, like the colour names, really difficult to read. And I know, like, I know I'm kind of like on my way to needing reading glasses, but it's not that bad. But I just find them really awkward. Like I've got one here and the pencil's quite worn, and it's like it's actually started to wear off, and it's small and it's white, and if the light shines on it, it makes it really difficult to read. Kind of annoying. Anywho, did like getting sidetracked here. Burnt over 50%. Come on, Jen. There it is there. Goodness me, that took a lot longer than it should have. Oh, God, I nearly dropped the pencil case there. Just make sure that's right. Yeah, burnt ochre 50%. Yeah, that the writing on that one's silver, and that's even worse. Like I don't like that at all. Right, this other sheet of paper that I've got here, this sheet here is just printer paper, you know, like normal copy paper, whatever you want to call it. So I've got two sheets there. One's to rest my hand on when I start actually using the pencils, and the other one's to scribble colours on because that's what we do. I can't trust my sketchbook because it's covered in in alcohol ink. Otherwise I would just do it in my sketchbook, but here we are. Canadian whiskey. April's breaking out the paint. Yes, go for it. DB likes maple syrup but no whiskey. I don't find the polychromos so bad, but I know those pencils really well, DB, and I think that's probably, like, I don't really need to read the names on it, whereas with these pencils I don't use them that often, so the metallic writing is the worst. Jan thinks that pencil companies just like to torment us. Right, okay, so I'll pop these greys to the side just now in my midnight black. Right, let's see what these look like. I might even use a combo. I just love these pencils. Like, see, just doing that makes me so happy. I feel like this is too orange. And saying that though, if I layer this up with some of the grey, that might do a job. Right, that was the Persian orange. Mars orange. Oh no, Mars orange is better. It's got that slightly brownier and slightly darker. Yeah, this is too orange. Like if I was doing a red squirrel, that would be a great sort of lighter colour to use. Right, definitely Mars orange. And then this is the... Yes, I think I'm going to use a combination of those two as a starting point. The Persian orange is orange, so that's going back. Fling it away. It's going back. Okay. Persian orange, be off with you. Right, the other thing I like to do is I love to start with an eye. I do it when I'm doing dog portraits and cat portraits as well. I always start with an eye. And I find that a combination, again, I'll just show you in my sketchbook. In my swatch, not my sketchbook, my swatch book. The luminance have white writing. Well, see, I've got some with white and some with silver. The white's not much better, honestly, because if like, you know, if in your lighting like this, okay, I'm quite well illuminated. The white's a really reflective colour anyway, so you still can't bloody read them. Not good with horrible light. Oh, DB, you're preaching to the choir here. Right, for the eyes, I strongly advise against using black for the full eyeball because it can be quite jarring, and especially in an animal like a squirrel who, you know, has prey eyes and not predator eyes, so they're set into the side. You know, there's a lot of things that can reflect off it, and the black can kind of just like look like an abyss. So if you are going to use a black, I would use a softer black. So the midnight black that I've picked out is pretty good for that. But if I just come over the page here, the dark cyan, so that's almost into like a Payne's grey type colour. Adding in something like that, it still gives the depth that you need, but it brings a wee bit of life. And obviously if anything is reflecting off it, you can add that in with different colours. But for the actual like eyeball part, those are pretty good options. But I mean, you can use any dark variant of any colour, and I talked a little bit about this. When was that talking about that? I was talking about shadow colours, and basically if you've got a dark version of any colour, it makes for a good shadow colour. So it's kind of the same thing, but you have to take into account what's reflecting off the actual eyeball, if there is a reflection, and whether you want to like work that in. So I'm going to grab the dark cyan as well. Pop this, and this is a big pencil case to like look about. It takes up a lot of space. Okay, be off with you, swatch book and pencils and things. Get my pencil case out the way. There's stuff everywhere. I have tidied up as well, but I've just got things all over the place. Okay, it's me. Oh. See, I'm very lucky as well, DB, because if I'm colouring at night, I can sit here, and I've obviously got studio lights on, so I rarely struggle. The problem comes for me when I've been in this room all day. If I've worked my proper job and then maybe done some cave stuff after my proper job, it comes to later at night and I just don't want to sit in this chair anymore. Like, I don't want to do it. And the rest of the rooms in my house have very low subdued lighting because that's the person I am. So it's more of a I don't want to than I can't find a place with good light, if that makes sense. Totally a thing though. Right, okay, so I love this picture of him as well. He's hanging onto the edge of the feeder. Like, hello, yes, it's me. I was kind of hoping you'd be able to see the red in his face a bit better there, but you really can't. But look, he's like, his face like just disappears into his chest. He's got no chin because he's that fat. Ah, jeez. He's a wee cutie patootie though. It really is. Oh, Kelvin's popped open the sweeties. Go for it, Kelvin, you do it. Okay, so I'm going to start with this right hand eye, I think. Well, on my right, his left. Or, do you know, I might start with an ear. Why not? The other colour that I forgot to get out was the chocolate brown. I'm going to have to do something about these birds. They're driving me crazy. Hang on. Oh, Vincent. That'll keep them away for a while. Oh. I do very much appreciate them during the day when I'm working and I'm on my own. Right, okay. Yeah, chocolate, that was the other colour that I'd mentioned. Chocolat. Right, let's get sharpening. Oh, yes. We need a bird cam. The problem is they don't like the reflection of lenses and they look like big eyes. I did get some footage of the birds. I did like a sped up one for my friend that I work with, who's also quite a keen bird watcher at home. But I had the camera running over hours, and they do get used to it, but they don't like it. Just giving everything a wee sharpen. I think it's because they look like owl eyes, or say just like predator eyes, especially on the iPhones. I don't have my phone with me, but the one with like the 3 lenses, they're big and obviously they're shiny as well. So, but I was gonna try and set up something. I'm gonna put a little camera in the birdhouse this year. We've got a little bird box on the cherry tree, which is where my hanging feeders are, and because we did, I think it was blue tits last year. So I'm gonna see if I can do that because I think that would be cool. My cyan pencil's not very happy here. Oh, that's like crumbly. Oh no. Right, I might have to emergency. Where's my... I've got my sort of like sick pencil sharpener should be in here, and it's this little brass bullet sharpener. This, you know, if we've got an unagreeable pencil or one that's got quite a shattered lead, this is the one that seems to do the business if we go carefully. April's got super bright lights everywhere because you're visually impaired. Well, that kind of makes sense. Bring on all the light. I do not like bright lights at all. When I had, oh, we're winning here, we're winning. When I had the surgery on this hand years ago, one of the medications I was on gave me a sensitivity to bright lights, and it's never gone away. So when I'm at home, like my house is very dark most of the time, and I like little side lamps. Hate having see the main light. We call it the big light. I'm pretty sure some of you in England call it that as well. The big light is the ceiling light, that one. Hate having the big light on. The only reason you need a big light is if you're looking for something. Only reason. But yeah, even outside, like I like being out in the sunshine, but I would rather not. And I get sick of the sunlight very quickly. See, in the summer when it's light, obviously being in Scotland in the longest day, there's very, very few hours of actual darkness, and I find it very intrusive. It's like when you go to bed at night and shut your eyes, it's light. You get up to go for a pee in the middle of the night, it's light, and you get up in the morning and it's light. I get very sick of the sunshine. I like the dark. I am a person that likes the dark. Do you call it the big light as well, Black Rose? That's hilarious. Makes perfect sense. Oh, the same in Austria as well. This is great. Love it. Absolutely love it. DB, these are the Derwent Lightfast pencils that we're using. I've got one luminance, one Caran d'Ache luminance, which is this one here, and that is the burnt ochre 50%. But the rest are all Derwent pencils. Right, okay. I think that's about as good as we're going to get. So I'm going to start with the Midnight black, which is actually blue. And we're going to start with an eyeball. I'm also going to put this on manual focus. Do you want zoomed in that much? How's that? I'd hate Florida. Hi Jackie, nice to see you. Yeah, too much sunshine in Florida for my liking. You're welcome, DB. Ulrika says big light, but our partner, who's a Londoner, says main light. Yeah, that's such a southern thing. Right, okay. Anyway, off we go. So there is a highlight on the top part of the eyeball here, so I'm just going to kind of like make that a thing. And we'll go from there. And I don't approach colour pencil drawings any differently than I do my colouring. I do exactly the same thing. I get a base layer of colour down and then I go from there, unsurprisingly. But I also, in this step, this is where I like really refine the shapes. Because obviously my last step's really sort of haphazard and slapdash. This is where I actually fix things, if you know what I mean. The difference is with when I'm doing something like this, I don't use a heavy pressure at any point. Everything's done in layers and everything's done very, very gradually. There's no like smashing down a colour, that just doesn't happen. So there you go, that's straight away, we look as if we're actually, you know, we're actually a creature, woo! So at this point, this is where I would bring in the black or the darkest colour, and I would use it very, very sparingly. So, well, here's black, it's just called black. I actually prefer a Mars black. Again, I'll show you the difference here, make sure I've got the right pencil. So your Mars black's a slightly warmer black. It's got a bit of brown in it. And so you can see the difference. And I always think like a true black, it just looks really dead. And I don't like it for eyeballs. I don't mind it for nostrils though, as long as it's not too rich. Like it has to be, yeah, there's, I don't know, I can't really explain that. It's okay for nostrils, it's not okay for eyeballs, because eyeballs are very much an expressive part of your animal, nostrils are not. But if you have the nostrils really rich and dark, they kind of stand out against everything else, so. Lorraine's like, give me all the lights. Cannot sleep or breathe if it's too dark. See, I'm the opposite. Like, oh, shut out all the light. Mars Black doesn't have caramel in it. Oh, Jan. And Jackie's a native and agreed. Some days are too hot to be outside. Yeah, that's just not fun. Sure, it's not, Jackie. Like, this doesn't sound like fun. Like, in the UK, like, we complain a lot about the weather. Like, it's a national pastime, and I think I can speak for all of the UK with that. We love complaining about the weather, but we're, in terms of temperatures, most of the time we're very, very lucky, especially in Scotland. Although we say it's actually too cold, it's not really. We are extremely lucky. Some of our fellow compadres down south have not been so lucky, especially this year just past. Ulrika, I'm looking at you. But on the whole, we actually do very well, and we don't have a lot to deal with. In the grand scheme of things. So with the Mars Black, I'm kind of keeping that in at the corner of the eye, because that's the place where the least amount of light is going to hit. Obviously for highlights on this side, and the eye is a curve, then there's going to be less of that. There isn't much else reflecting off of there. So I just build this up. And I'm leaving that, I've got a line on that outside edge, but I'm not going to darken that because again the light's kind of like coming from that direction, so. That is a Mr. Chubs eye if ever I saw one. That's his eyeball. We'll remember that about the nostrils, yeah. Not really a thing that comes up in conversation, DB, but it's just good to know. Try it out though, even on a really simple, you know, just like a quick scribble. Try it out with a black pencil and like maybe a really dark brown or a dark blue. And the same with the eyes, and do a side by side and you'll see straight away, you'll be like, oh, that does look odd. Lorraine's got to an age where you recall the shots and don't have to suffer the scary dark and get bothered by visits when I sleep. Just a wee bit too warm, Ulrika. I think that's an understatement for London. It's a thing though, if it gets under 50 we all freak out. Alright, wait a minute, I don't have my phone with me to convert that because nobody else here uses Fahrenheit, Jackie. The majority of us are European. I don't know why I'm doing that, we're still part of Europe, but and your Canadian counterparts as well also use Celsius. What's 50 in real people's money? Does anybody know, guys? I've usually got a converter to hand, but 50's quite, is that not quite cold? No, don't apologise, Jackie. Not at all. I'm good with Fahrenheit in like oven temperatures, like really hot, but just not in like ambient temperatures. I'm not used to using it. Yeah, right, okay, I have to find this out for about 10 degrees. Thank you, Ulrika. There we go. Okay, 10 degrees is, that's kind of like average for us. That's average in Scotland. 10 degrees C. Yeah, 10. April's like, oh, 10 isn't that bad. No, 10's fine. But if you're in Florida, that makes perfect sense. Like, that's... yeah, okay. I see, I like learning about these things. Like, I like this. I don't do well in heat though. I was talking last stream about when I'm out running, and I run very well in extremely cold temperatures. Like my body seems to be able to cope with it okay. But even anything over moderately warm and it's a complete disaster. So I am definitely a colder climes person. So my Italian heritage has clearly done nothing for me on that front. 10 degrees is a decent winter temperature, positively hot. I was going to say that's balmy for winter, isn't it, Jan? It's 3 degrees with Patty. Yeah, we're about the same. Well, I think we're colder than that now. I think we're closer to 0. I double it and add 30. A good point. Say, like, just off the top of my head, I'm good with Fahrenheit for oven temperatures because I used to be a chef. But the lower temperatures, like, it just doesn't compute at all. 1 degree here and that is balmy. Oh, there you go, Jackie. Patty's converting into Fahrenheit for you. Thank you, Patty. That was very nice of you. It's very considerate. Okay, so right now we've got an eyeball. I'm going to pick out one of the lighter greys. So what did we say? We said the platinum. And I'm just going to start marking out this area around his eye. So I'm not really going for fur texture here because the fur, although it is furry, it's very, very, very smooth in comparison to the rest of his coat. But again, we just want to put that in there so that we've got that marker. We will work on these areas a lot more. I'm just making sure I get the shape right here as well. It's incredibly cute. Oh. Now I think I need, I actually need more of a brownish colour to start around this ear. What's this ear? Because the chocolate's too dark for this. Yeah, I need something a little bit lighter than chocolate. Okay. Back we go to the swatch book. I kind of like this moonstone colour as well for around his eyes. I'm going to grab that while I'm here. That kind of reminds me of the French greys and the Prismacolor sets, if any of you are Prismacolor pencil fans. And so does Fossil Grey as well, which you can't see. This one here. Kind of reminds me of the same thing. Right, browns, concentrate gem, come on now. Warm Earth and Van Dyke Brown, okay. Okay, so here's Warm Earth. And here is Van Dyke Brown. So again, round the ears, obviously where the ginger has met with the grey, we've come out with some sort of brown round the ears. Oh, look at that for a pointy point, my goodness. Love me a good pointy point. Okay, so for the insides of the ears, I'm going to take this luminance pencil, and I actually need to like work out the shape of his ears first, so let's not do that. Let's use the Warm Earth pencil first, and I'm going to commit to his ear shape. Like this. So something a little bit like that. As a true Canadian, I have my indoor fan going because I'm too warm. It is funny. Okay, right, so for the inner part of the ear, now we've got grey fluff that comes up like from the head over the front of the ear, so we're going to kind of ignore the part where the ear joins the rest of the head. However, you can deal with what's in here. So I'm just going to stop it about there. Again, inside the ears, you know. And this is the Van Dyke Brown now. Beautiful. We've got the start of an ear. Woo. This little dark patch just kind of like ceases to exist there, which is fine. I'm going to grab that moonstone pencil now and sharpen it. And I'm going to work that in under this eye area. I feel like it's too grey, like I needed to warm it up a little bit. And I would say that that's much more accurate. Freaking adorable. I hate it when everyone says as well, because like when people find out we've got squirrels in the garden, the first thing they say is, oh, are the red squirrels? And I'm like, no, and they're like, oh, grey squirrels are horrible. And I'm like, it's not their fault that they were introduced, like, you know, calm yourself. They can't help it. They're like, you leave my squirrel alone. Very protective of my squirrels, you know. And my thing is as well, like, they're not doing any harm here. It's not like they're... If they want to try and outcompete each other for food, well, that's up to them. You know, that's their prerogative. I'm not party to that. I am just the provider of food. But in terms of there's no red squirrels here, so it's fine. It's not a thing. Right, okay, so with the Van Dyke brown, I just want to pop a little bit of that in there. And then take my my Mars Black. We have an ear. It's terribly exciting. I knew we wouldn't get far with the colour pencil with this. Squirrel racism. Squirrel racism. April says this is a great way to spend New Year's Day. Thanks. Well, you're welcome, April. I kind of just wanted to hang out, honestly. The last live stream knocked the absolute stuffing out of me for obvious reasons. So I kind of just wanted this to be really laid back, and I didn't want to try and like, I've got to finish something, I've got to do this, like, oh, I didn't want any of that. How are you, Elise? Happy New Year. Black Rose's got red, brown squirrels here, no grey ones. I'd rather have grey than none, but red are prettier. Well, the red squirrels, I think they're much finer featured as well. If you only have grey and they're fun. You have mongoose. Oh my god, that's amazing. I'm always really confused. I'm sure I talked about this as well, about the plural of mongoose being mongoose. Like, that's a thing for me. Ah. They're cute, whatever colour. They're also wee buggers though as well. Like, they're very mischievous, very mischievous. Okay, I would like to have a little bit more than this done by now, so I'm going to grab my platinum pencil because I'm looking at the time. It's 4:30 already. Mongoose. The plural of mongoose is mongoose, and I think it should be mongoose. Oh, it really does. It tickles me. That's funny. Right, I'm gonna take my kneaded eraser here because my lines are quite they're quite dark there. This is Jock's just scratched his ear, and he's scratched himself so hard that he's hurt himself. I don't know if you heard him squeak there. Right, so this is a fluffy bit, so I'm just gonna flick out very gently. But I just want to get that line of his little fat cheek in before we stop, and then I feel as if I've kind of like actually done something. So that's the line of his cheek there. Like, makes me weirdly happy. I don't know what's wrong with me, honestly. Oh, so there's a darker patch. See, I've still got my pencil line there, but that darker patch actually comes down to about there. So if I just flick in very lightly, I've not made that a very good shape. But that, so next time I know that I can bring that dark patch into that V there. So it's kind of like a little reminder for myself. And we'll get some ginger going in his coat. Oh god, I'm so easily amused. This is why I really enjoy drawing animals though, because stuff like this just makes me like happy. Like, it just makes me happy, that's all. Okay, so we've got an ear and we've started a cheek. Well done. Just flick in some grey there, soften that out a little bit. Okay, right, so we're going to stop the pencil drawing there. I'm really sorry that we didn't get further with this, but as I say, that it wasn't really my intention to get through things today. It was just to chill out because it's New Year's Day. So I hope you've enjoyed it up to this point. We've talked about nostrils, we've talked about, you know, using different colours and the way that some people just don't plan stuff until they actually start with a coloured pencil, which I wouldn't advise, honestly, but it's just what I do. So yeah, I hope you've gotten something from this. But I will continue on with this at a later stage. That's going to be a wee project for me to chip away at. Kerry doesn't know if they've got Squirrels in Australia. That's a really good point. We need to look that one up as well. Kerry, can I ask you please what time it is with you right now? Marilise, on Christmas Eve we had a deer that was injured in our backyard. He was gone. Ah. Mongoose sounds about right. There's a wonderful channel that saves and relocates problem squirrels. They are a father and daughter team. I love it. That sounds really good, Elise. I like that. Not even the RSPCA was willing to come out. I find quite often though that with deer they're stunned, and if you leave them they can kind of like gather themselves together and get themselves going again. We don't care much for deer on account of we are overrun by them and they ruin our crops. But obviously if there was an injured one, we tend to go down the route of doing the kind of triage bit because we're used to doing it with cows and things. And if there's one that's maybe past the point of no return or we think it's not going to make it, sometimes we put it out of its misery for it instead of calling the RSPCA or a vet or whatever. Yeah, sometimes it's the kindest thing to do. A DB likes drawing and colouring animals but not people. I'm exactly the same. I don't do people on all levels. You guys are perfect and you're my favourites because you're on the internet, you're at a distance. I know some of you quite well. I do not people well in person. I do not have a lot of patience for it, and that seems to transfer into art as well. Yeah, animals are my favourite. Animals and trees, that's my two things. 3:36 a.m. So you are 11 hours in front of us then? Yeah, 11 hours. I'm asking Kerry, in the new year, I've got quite a few viewers that are in Australia, New Zealand, and I'm trying to figure out a good time because I'm going to do an early morning stream at some point. So like, I'm talking at like 6 in the morning here. So that would be, you know, late afternoon, early evening for you, so that you could actually, you know, not be up at this time of the morning. Kerry is a night owl like me. I would say that's a morning owl personally. Like that's only like an hour or two before I get up. Hi Martine, how are you? Happy New Year to you too. I had a very quiet New Year. I was in bed before the bells last night. I just wasn't feeling it last night. People are a no for me too. Trees and water and marine animals. Yes, Jackie. You're in good company. And here's Bonnie as well. Hi Bonnie. Welcome. Happy New Year. Very good. You've come at a slightly unfortunate moment. I'm gonna pop Mr. Chubs away here. I'm actually quite happy with what we've done so far because I've got all my pencils and everything picked out. I'm gonna take a short break and tidy all of this up because I've now got nearly a dozen pencils lying out, and I'm gonna grab my gouache supplies, get some paintbrushes and stuff out, so that when I come back everything's set up and we're just going to start painting because I really want to paint today as well. So I'm sorry if some of you don't like the chopping and changing, but my resolution was to also do some gouache. And Martin's playing Scrabble. I'm pretty good at Scrabble. Let me know if you need any help. So if you want to just talk amongst yourselves, talk about what you're having for tea or breakfast for some of you, then you can do so, and I'll be back in about 5 minutes or so. I'll be as quick as I can, I promise. Okay guys. I'm back, I'm back, I'm back, I'm back. Whew, I did a bit of running about there. Mr. Jem was trying to have a conversation with me and I'm like, can't do this right now, kind of busy. Right, so what's everyone having for dinner then? Doctor, oh my goodness. Pork pie. Courgettes and oh, pork pie. Oh, pork pie all the way. Dialect Widow, I want to be better at people portraits. Okay. Davey wants more time to colour this year and to get better at it. I always need more time to colour. Ulrika, oh, I'd go pork pie, yes. Pork roast. Pork seems to be... April doesn't like pork. Pork seems to be the thing. I'm having... Oh, here's Pip coming. Hi, Pee-Pee. You alright? Dirty paws, thanks. That's just what I wanted. She's been outside. And it's like a swimming pool outside. Are you staying? She never stays. Hmm? Are you just feeling left out? So funny. Right, April doesn't like pork yet. Oh, someone else is having pork. Rika's having pork as well. DB, fish fingers. Yeah, we're having chicken curry tonight. Oh, tamales. Oh, yes. April might order in. Doctor Who. Bonnie is working on adding more elements to backgrounds for colouring pages. That is a really interesting thing to be doing. Something I really enjoy doing, especially weirdly in Johanna Basford's books, because she has a lot of like single images. That's something I really enjoy doing. Scrabble break over now and another round to begin. Have fun. I hope you win, Martine. Say if you need any help, give us a shout. We're right here. Bread, smoked salmon. Oh no, the smoked salmon. Oh, I love salmon. I don't like smoked salmon. I think it's a waste of a good bit of salmon. I'm not really into smoked fish though, full stop. So, yeah, there's that. Oh, you're bored during the Christmas episode of Doctor Who? Oh, sacrilege. Yeah, well, DB, I'm not into Doctor Who, so you're in good company. April's like, hey Pip. Yeah, she's jumped up on the I've got a little sofa bed chair here. She's popped herself down. Looks like she's staying for a bit. So okay. Hi Yana, how are you? Spending the week with family at the lake house in Michigan. Oh, that's nice. Turkey curry reheat. It's the last of the turkey. Oh no. Yeah, that Patty, that was Pip's tail you saw when she was jumping up. She's decided she's staying for a bit. Black Rose loves fish basically in any shape or form. Well, see, I do just not smoked fish. I'm actually quite a big fish eater, but just not, yeah, not smoked. It's like, oh no. Oh. Be back in a mo. Oh, stray cat friend for supper. Priorities. Get them fed. April now on fish. Can you order in fish? Right, okay, let's go back this way. So we've changed things quite substantially now, as you can see. This is my pot of gouache brushes here. So I'll just stick that off to the side. Got some rags and a couple of pots. I've always got a jar of fresh water. This is always kicking about. So some in here for mixing, etc., and some in here for cleaning brushes. My little paint puck in there. It's starting to get a bit worse for wear, that paint puck, but we shall continue. My very high-tech and expensive mixing palette, which is my old IKEA 365 plate. This is ancient. It does a really good job for stuff like that. Oh, so not complaining. And if I just zoom out a wee bitty here, all the gouache. I don't actually know. I don't know what I'm feeling. This lavender colour's kind of winking at me though. Maybe we could have like a dark purple colour. I really like this colour as well. That's the Artful Kingfisher, I think it's called. Yeah. I don't know how I would incorporate that in with this colour though. I want a really dark purple as well. I'm feeling purpley today. That says lilac. I don't know what else I've got that's purpley. just pop this over a wee bit. Or maybe like into a dark blue. Yeah, we can mix some paint here. So this is Arteza Aegean Blue. That's a kind of lilac-y colour. I don't want lilac-y colours. Mauve. It's mauve. Might have to mix a deep purple. The Prussian blue, that'll probably be too blue though. When I'm thinking about gouache paintings, it's always landscapes for me, you guys know that. There's a darker purple. What's this? Violet. Okay, we'll try some of these out and see how we go. I don't really know where I'm going with this. It doesn't have to go anywhere, to be honest. But we'll make it into something. So, let's pick a wee page here. Right, okay. I could really do with a, what do you call them things? Clip. Let me see. I'll get my new clip that Mama Jem got me for Christmas. It's shaped like a hand. That's an actual hand. Sea bass. Oh, I love sea bass, Yana. Just thought about ordering fish right now for dinner. It's 11:51 AM. Yes. Oh, I love it. Yeah, like it's like a little hand holder on there. Love this. Okay, let's squeeze out some. Oh, Pip, she's so contrary. Just gone and shut that door over and she's decided she's leaving. She does this all the time. Mr. Jem's in the house, so I think she's worried that she might miss something. Mary's got Hunter's chicken in the fridge. Yeah, we're all waiting on Jan's opinion of the Sarah Burns gouache box. I kind of contemplated it, but honestly I've got more gouache than I know what to do with, so yeah, there's that. Okay, so that is a very dark purple, but I kind of like it. That is the Arteza Violet. I don't mind the Arteza gouache paints, they're pretty good. I was more interested in this lavender colour though. McDonald's for dinner, which is the can't be arsed order. Towel dry, you towel dry your stray cats, my goodness. Oh, this is absolutely rock solid in here. Hi Pip. Oh, that's not gonna, that is such a pretty colour. Oh. I've been saving up these little pots. You get them with takeaways, funnily enough. I've been trying to save them to put all these artful paints in because they're not doing well in these tubes at all. And I have got one, and I don't know where I've put it. I might have flung it in somewhere because if I've got it, I just want to put the paint in like while I've got it in my hand, if you know what I mean. Yeah, there it's there. Yes. Oh, I've got purple here actually. Oh. Just having a dig about, you know. Okay. Yeah, they usually have like sauces in them. So this was the one from earlier. Here's one I prepared earlier. So I'm just going to wang all of that in there. The artful tubes are not good, and what's been happening with them is that the lid seems to harden on the top of the tube, and then when you try and twist the lid, it twists the neck and the shoulder of the tube as well, and you can't get the lid off it. I mean, I've had to use pliers and elastic bands and all sorts. So I'm just trying to rescue all of these as I go along. But look how pretty that colour is, like it's lovely. Ugh. The tubes are, the paint's lovely, but the tubes are absolutely rubbish. That is really firm paint as well. To be fair, this isn't a colour I've used at all, so it's been sitting there for goodness knows how long. Yes. Okay. What was that called? 500 lavender. I do put little labels on them as well. I could do a field of lavender. I kind of want this for a background though. I was thinking more something wintry, honestly. Right, now that we've rescued that. Never a dull moment. Right, okay, so we've got that, and I maybe want to squish out some of this Aegean blue. Oh, here we go again. Urgh. There we go. That wasn't too bad. Ew. It's a bit lighter than I thought it was going to be. But okay. I really don't want all these crispy bits on my plate though. Be gone with you. That's what I'm talking about. And here's the lilac as well. If you use a lighter and heat up the metal, it is easier to open. Okay. I will bear that in mind. That doesn't make sense scientifically, but because metal expands with heat, and so does plastic. I will try that though. Okay, so we've got some purples and a little bit of blue. Yeah, so I tend to like just make a watered down version. This is like, I just find out where these things are going to take me basically. So let's have a filbert, why not? Quite a big filbert at that, and we'll see what comes of this. Minnie did mountains with that colour at the back the other day in Procreate. Nice. DB, Ulrika's got loads of cats that come to see her. She's like, she feeds everybody. Okay, so what I like to do is start with my lightest colour, which is obviously this beautiful shade here. Water it down a fair bit, and then just, because why not? Like, why the hell not? This is one of the things I really, really love about gouache. I'll just let it do its thing. But we're going to keep it moving. So let's grab some of this darker colour. Bit less water. And I deliberately leave the brush strokes as well because it kind of like turns into things. Let's change the direction of the brush strokes a little bit. I tend to go darker the further out I go as well. Are you okay, Pip? You don't look very okay. Honestly, I don't know what this dog's up to. She's kind of like, she's not side-eyeing me, but she's staring at me. Do you think I'm talking to myself? Tail wags. Do you think I'm losing my marbles? It's quite possible. Pip's one of these dogs though, like she is my dog, like compared to Jock. I mean, Jock's more Mr. Jem's dog. But Pip understands everything that's being said. I'm convinced of it. Oh yeah, look. That's nice, I like that too. Now the nice thing about this as well is, as I'm going along here, I mean this looks absolutely horrendous, and do you know what? Absolutely okay, because if we want things to look a bit more refined and have a bit less, you know, chaos going on, we can just go in with a wee bit of water, you know, in a clean brush and kind of like smoosh things together a wee bit, which I am also a fan of. Again, some of you will know. Now in this sketchbook, this is the Sea White watercolour journal. I sell these in the stash shop. I'm going to have this as my permanent sketchbook once I've finished that Lloyd term. You know, once it's, and I'm just going to use this for everything because it takes coloured pencil quite nicely as well and graphite. There we go, she's settled down a bit now. Lost my train of thought there. Yeah, these are sized so when you're using water on them you don't get as much buckling on the paper, and you can kind of go hard at it honestly, and it's usually pretty good. So stuff like this, you know, if I want to get a bit funky, I'm feeling a bit fancy, then it's absolutely fine. Let's put a bit of blue up there as well, why not? Okay, so that's where we're starting. So I'm going to clean my brush off now. Again, just with a rag here. Jan would love to be adopted by a local cat, but I'm on the second floor. Dreamy's in your pocket. Yana started snowing. Yeah, we had snow earlier, Yana. How's Pip's leg? Back to normal. Yesterday was the first day when we've been out walking that I've had to towel the dogs off when I've come in. They were just really dirty, and when I got round to that area in Pip's leg, obviously which I've been avoiding up till now, and then actually, like, this sounds disgusting, but like drying the growth separately because it looked a little bit like a scrotum. And obviously being very gentle and very careful there. And it's gone now. And when I got to that part of her leg, she stretched it away out and like kind of half cocked it, as if to say, oh, like, please rub it more in there. So I don't know whether it's itchy or whatever, but I gave her a really good rub in there and she was wagging her tail. So I think she's fairly happy. It's quite funny. I'm going to leave this line here. I don't know what for yet, but I'm going to leave it. But let's pull this over. Oh, look at the colour that's making. That's pretty. And maybe blend this out a little bit as well. See, I can add more to this. It's not really... I said I don't know where this is going at this point. It doesn't really matter to me, to be honest. I just wanted to paint something, so... let's soften this up round here as well. Again, I've not cleaned my brush there, just why not? They really are great sketchbooks. Love mine. I like the fact that they're cheap as well. Like they are, for the money that you pay for them. I think they're exceptional. There are better quality sketchbooks out there, don't get me wrong, but for the price point, I just think that you can't beat them. Okay, this is beginning to look a little bit like a cave or something. Not entirely sure. We'll squint at it for a wee while. Oh, good girl, Pip. Oh, you have bats, DB. Oh, yay. That was one of my favourite things about being in Mauritius, was watching the fruit bats. And like the bats that we have in the UK are about this size. They're tiny. And seeing a Mauritian fruit bat, it's like a freaking bear, but they're massive. And they were very entertaining to watch, especially at night when, you know, they were quite active. Absolutely not scared of humans at all. They came and sat in the palm trees around where we were staying, and it was really interesting watching them because they were obviously all fighting over like whatever fruit was kicking about. It was really, really funny. I like them. One I've got now with an injured wing. We'll see if she can fly after she heals. Oh, yay. Has anyone tried the Bong watercolour sketchbooks? No. If anybody has, it'd be interesting to hear. They're very cute. They seem to have like quite strong personalities. Like they seem to be quite a sort of forceful species of bat. But yeah, I really enjoyed. That was one of my favourite things about being in Mauritius was the fruit bats. Right, I'm gonna have to let this dry a little bit. I kind of want some snow. I'm not really sure how this is going to fit in. I almost feel as if this is like some sort of ledge. I think what I need is some white. I mean, obviously we're working in gouache, we always need white. Let me see. I've been really into the Talons white gouache. Like, that's a good gouache, but I'm sure I've got one. Yeah, I was going to say I've got one that's got a bit out of it. So we'll start with that. I have the small ones too, no fruit bats here, but they're also wonderful. Yay! Yeah, we have bats. We're surrounded by a lot of trees, obviously rural as well, and but our bats they're weeny, tiny, tiny, tiny. Patty still looks like a galaxy to me. Well, I'm going to change that for you. They're mice with wings. How can you not love them? I want a bat named Buddy too. I know they really do. They have a not so good reputation. I definitely think that this is some sort of cliff face. I'm going to challenge myself to not put any trees in this, whatever this ends up as. Don't know what that means. I don't know what that means, not yet anyway. So I'm waiting on this bit here. This is really wet here, but everything else is starting to dry out a little bit. Okay, let's, not this brush though. Let's have, I love this little cat tongue brush. This is that came in a scroller box, I think. Yeah, I really like this paintbrush. And I'm gonna mix. I'm gonna grab a little bit of white and bring it over here. Isolate it a little bit. No trees. Hi Angela, how you doing? Happy New Year, lovely to see you. Just to catch up, we don't know what we're doing with this. I've just literally slung some watered down gouache onto the page and I'm going to see where it takes me. I've just challenged myself not to put any trees in it though. So we'll see how that goes. That'll probably last all of about 5 minutes, but you know. Yeah, so let's let's be some clouds here or something. Or maybe some distant something or others. Mountains? I visited the far north once where there are no trees. It's freaky. That's like Shetland here. Shetland's a tiny little island way, way, way off the coast. You have the Orkneys, which are pretty, they're pretty far north, and then Shetland's like, well, and there is nothing on Shetland. And Shetland's it's an interesting place to visit. Very interesting. People are lovely though. People are really friendly in Shetland. I know a few Shetlanders. Okay, so I'm not sure if this is going to be a cloud bank or whether it's something off in the distance yet. This is definitely going to be foreground though, this dark something. I feel like this is a cave, like yeah, definitely feel like that's a cave. I love these little adventures though, just see where they're going. So I'm going to follow that little line there and then take that across. Just let that, it's quite damp, so I'm just letting that mix in because it's given me a nice, you know, variety of colour there, and obviously build it up in layers as we go. Ulrika did a bat survey in autumn, so many people took part in the Bat Conservation Trust. It's been inundated with data. Well, that's good. That's a nice thing. I'm going to bring this over here so I'm not crossing my arm over all the time. Oh, you watched the series Shetland? Yeah, there's not a lot there. A cave in a galaxy far, far away. Yeah, maybe we need to make this a cave. So I'll take this kind of like middle purple colour. It is a cave, isn't it? Like it really is. So let's just sharpen this up, but also maybe there's a wee light source or something coming from there. I'm not entirely sure about that, but we'll figure it out. No cave has gone before. When Yana bought her home, the #1 thing on my wish list was trees. I have to have trees and willing to risk them following my house. Oh, you would love it here. We are surrounded by trees, to our detriment in a lot of respects. But I'm the same. It does shut out a lot of light though, and yes, there is always the risk of things falling on it. If a tree falls on this house, we're screwed. The trees have been around for a long time though. We've got quite a lot of fir trees and like pine trees though, so I don't know if that makes a difference or not, but I feel like it's too light. I think I want this darker blue. That's too dark. I'm trying to think. I think I've got some sort of light source in here. I'm not really sure what it is though, or why. That this is like such a half-cocked idea that's going on here, and I'm gonna have to really figure this out a little bit. I'm still just kind of making shapes, honestly. Like, I feel like that should be dark in there for some reason. I'm not enjoying this brush for this purpose either. I want a round brush. What are you? Pro Art Series 60 Prolon, why not? Why the hell not? A bit more purple in there. Okay, how are we drying up here? We're pretty good. Okay. Gonna grab a little bit more white now. Really got no idea where this is going at all. I'm very drawn to this though. I think I should probably do something with this, and I think that I need to have some snow on it maybe. Like maybe this is just a little ledge. And maybe there's a little creature that lives in this cave that likes to sit on the ledge. Who knows? It's the start of something. It's the start of something. Lorraine's got 7 trees in her smallish garden and a mahoosive fig bush. You want your trees? A space squirrel. Oh, DB, it's going to get better. It's going to get so much better. This is only the beginning. Okay, so let's I need to extinguish that dark part and then maybe have a bit there. Is it working in gouache? All about layers. We'll make it layering. Layering. It takes time though. Okay, so we've got a definite plane there. And okay, if you were a galaxy cave moss, what colour would you be? I was thinking like a light blue, so something like this, but maybe a bit paler. If anyone has any other thoughts on it, please let me know. I have no idea what intergalactic cave moss looks like. A space squirrel. Is this to keep the squirrel theme? Is that the idea? I kind of get the feeling that these are clouds, but I feel like they should be quite heavy clouds. I'm not sure. Is this still cloud as well? Maybe. Neon blue. Okay, excellent. You could count you guys for a sensible answer. A squirrel with a spacesuit and ship in the background. I'm pretty sure that even space squirrels need trees though, and I've already said that we're not having trees, so don't know how y'all feel about that. Okay, so we're going to have like a luminescent blue. Right, that's good. I feel like we should have some sort of vegetation, especially for not having trees, because after all, space squirrels need to eat something, don't they? He's looking for something new. Oh, honestly, like we're getting into silly territory now. You. Right, so I'm just softening out that bottom edge there. Maybe just floof that out a little bit there too, because it's like we don't have like a solid edge here either, so you know, there's that. Okay, let's see what happens then. I wonder if I've got like an electric blue. I like this blue, but I don't think it's what we're looking for because it's quite close to what we've got going on here. So let me just have a wee dig about for another blue. Silly us. You're all like, what do you expect? Come on, Jem. Right, what have we got here? I've got cobalt turquoise. What did you get for Christmas? Well, I got something that I can't talk about. All shall be revealed eventually. I got Lego vouchers. Unsurprisingly, got Lego vouchers. I got some really nice scrapbooking supplies as well from Mr. Jem. And what else did I get? I got a John Deere hoodie. Unfortunately, it is far too big, so Mr. Jem's having to take that back. Again, nice problem to have. What's this? Ice blue. Well, maybe we could mix that with something. Right, hang on. I thought I had like a really, like almost like an, I'm sure I had like an electric blue. I might just be making that up though. See, I've got so many tubes of gouache that I just don't know anymore. And it's been a while since I've painted in gouache. Let me just have a wee bit of a root about. Stone blue, that's not the colour it says it is though. Yeah. Okay, may have to do a bit of mixing here. How inconvenient. All these tubes of gouache, I'm still going to have to mix some paint. Whose idea was this? Yeah, I could have sworn blind I had a really bright, like almost like an offensive blue. Yeah, clearly I don't. Primary blue. I think I'm going to mix. Right, I'm going to mix it. Or I could, oh wait a minute, I can use the Kingfisher blue. Yes. Come on, Jim. Hazelnut bush. Lego voucher, so off to Leeds with you. No, Edinburgh. Well done in being too small for the John Deere hoodie. Well, not really, because it was a men's extra large. If it was ladies' sizes, an extra large would fit me. I needed bust room basically, but it's absolutely gigantic. Like it's almost too big for Mr. Jem. I have chipmunks living under my porch. Oh, the cats watch them through the door. That's funny. Right, okay. I think this is perfect intergalactic cave moss colour, just saying. We can mix a wee bit of white in with it as well if that's what we want. Intergalactic cave moss, my god. So all very Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, isn't it? Okay, let's get some clean water. This paint is really stiff. Oh my god, that's okay. We're just gonna take it straight off here. That's almost hard. I do want it quite dry to be fair, but not that dry. These containers obviously aren't as airtight as I thought they were. However, the great thing about gouache is, again, like watercolour, we can quite easily bring it back to life. Okay, DB, we shall see you again soon. Thanks for coming and hanging out with us. I really enjoyed your company today, and I hope your little bat's okay as well. Hopefully next time we hear from you, it will be good news. Okay, and I want a slightly knackered brush for this. Only slightly knackered, you understand. I've got one that's, the bristles are kind of starting to spread on it a little bit. Where's it gone? It was actually an old watercolour brush. Yeah, this little, I'm assuming it was a filbert at one point. It still is a filbert, technically speaking. So really dry brush, because we want like a mossy effect. I'll maybe zoom in a little bit on this as well. This still looks like an absolute train wreck. I'm perfectly aware of that, but I'm okay with it. Right, okay. A scrap of paper in there. Thanks, we'll give her a hug from you. Yay! I would love to hug a bat. Okay, that's too dry. Okay, so let's get some moss on the go. Yes, this colour's perfect. Where did your mum find the hand clip? I don't know, Elise. Where do you see us? Oh, a skull, yeah. Rawr. There's a bigger one as well, that I think that's the little one. I was looking for some, I just wanted something pretty, and it's for my scrapbook because it's a hand bound one and the pages like want to pop together. So I just wanted something to kind of hold it back that was kind of cute, and I like that a lot. Okay, and then I'm going to just grab a little bit. I'm trying to get like the driest part here. I want to keep this as dry as possible because that's what gives us this nice texture. Something I do with gouache a lot is I don't always mix it properly, and it gives a sort of, gives you a nice sort of uneven texture as well. You know, with the colours, I mean, like it's quite irregular. Oh, that was a bit too wet. Maybe that sort of like hangs down a little bit. Oh yeah. Nice. Maybe this comes up a little bit here. Maybe there's like a contour there that we can't necessarily see because it's in low light or something. Who knows? So you can see I've got like the top of my cave forming now, and this is obviously something that's hanging in the background. You know, it's got these little bits coming down, and that was just my brush strokes. So that kind of makes me want to accentuate these kind of hanging bits. So maybe they're like stalagmite sort of, you know, in moss form. Or maybe they're just really gloopy bits, who knows. to put some moisture back in my brush here. Can you revive acrylic paint? Oh, I am not the person to ask about that, Kerry. Right, come on chat, let's help Kerry out. Do you mean that it's dried out, Kerry? Because if it has, probably no would be my first answer, but then again, I'm not that. The problem is, with acrylic paint, even if it's water-based, once it's dry, the acrylic part kicks in, basically. I don't know if there's much you can do for stuff like that. Oh yeah. So this is the entrance into the cave, clearly. This is some sort of walkway. Yeah, that's what I thought, Elise. Have you got tubes that have dried out, Kerry? Is that what's happened? Did you hear my thumb click in there? Ew. Well, there's another little edge there. Oh, this is a pillar. This is a pillar. See, things are starting to take shape now. Things are starting to make sense just in this tiny little corner, but things are making sense. Love it when that happens. This is why I love doing this in gouache. Like, I don't care if I don't ever paint anything else in gouache in my entire life. But the fact that you just slap down some paint and all of a sudden things just start like popping out at you, like, and that's the part that kind of tickles me in terms of my imagination. I used to write a lot of fiction, I used to write a lot of stories, and you know, when you're doing that, you do have to have a good imagination, and this has turned into a wonderful substitute for that particular thing. I don't write anymore, and unfortunately I don't think I'll ever go back to it, but that's another story for another time. Let's have a little extra bit in there. Oh yeah. Okay, yep, so definite pathway here. Love it. I've got this tiny little white speck in here that's annoying me. I'm going to have to do something about that. That's rather inconvenient and it's not in keeping with what I want now. You've got acrylic paints and tubes that are dried out. I don't think, I think it's a lost cause, Kerry, honestly. Obviously you are in the southern hemisphere. The only thing I can say for the future is like preventative measures. Try and keep them in somewhere dark and like as far away from heat as possible. That was my thumb, yeah it was. It's a Lorraine, I need to put a glowworm in somewhere. Like I actually need a glowworm in my life now. Glowworm. Right, I think we could maybe put a glowworm in on this side, in this really dark patch. That's exciting. Honestly, Lorraine, that's like, yes! You can stick your space squirrels where the sun don't shine. I want a glowworm. This is not going to be the glowworm though. I want to fix this particular area. So this was this lovely light colour. This is not going to match exactly, but I'm going to fix it a little bit. You would almost not know that was there. It'll dry a different colour. This is the problem, which is the same thing. Well, it's not a problem, but the same thing with acrylics as well. It dries a slightly different colour. But let's right, let's go with it. There's lots of lines here in texture, so let's make this just like maybe this is texture in the back of this cave area. Why not? Got a few little lines going on there. And what we can do is we can grab a teeny weeny brush. I want one with a really pointy point on it. That's something I really need to get for gouache, is a brush with a nice point. I might actually just take one of my sea white brushes, you know, the synthetic ones that I sell in the stash shop. I might just grab one of them and have it as a gouache brush, because they're pretty good. This one's got quite a nice point on it. Most of my gouache brushes are just cheap brushes, guys. I don't have anything particularly expensive. I've got two really nice ones. They're Skoda Prado brushes. They're kind of like a mid-price brush. I've got a filbert and I've got a flat. But apart from that, the rest of my brushes that I use are, they're so cheap. So cheap. Right, so let's grab some clean water here. And I'm going to take this really dark purple to get this a bit more mobile. Oh, yes. Okay, you guys couldn't see that because I'm really zoomed in, but I've just made a really nice, pretty line. So I maybe have like some cracks going up there. See, I've got this pale bit here, so maybe if I kind of like bring this down. Jock snoring. I'm having so much fun right now, it's ridiculous. Oh, I kind of want another crack somewhere though. I don't know where. Maybe there's one that's spidering out this way, like, oh. Interesting cave. So we don't know what the light source is, but it's kind of travelling that way. Maybe it's just special sparkles. Just saying. Could be special sparkles for all we know. Space llama, space squirrel, space sheep, space collie. Space worm is the ambassador greeting the space squirrel. Okay, this is like standard live stream chat for the cave, isn't it? Oh. Okay, Ulrika, nice to see you. Thanks for coming and hanging out. I'm going to have to wrap up pretty soon as well. I have dinner to make also. I think I just want to make sure I make this into like a proper pillar though before I disappear. So I'll maybe do that and then we'll call it quits. So back to my darkest purple here, and I'll probably use a bit of blue as well. Like, I don't really know what I want to do with this, but I feel like Chubs really snoring. I'll maybe have a think about this for next time. And see what I want to do with it. Okay, guys, I'm going to stop there. I'm glad that I've started something that's kind of making sense to me. Obviously, there is much to be done here, but we'll definitely revisit this. I'm just going to leave this here to dry for a wee while, because why not? Special glowing mushrooms. I like the idea of special glowing mushrooms too. Space worm and the space squirrel need food. Absolutely, yes, that's 100%. So the worm is a drug pusher. Jan, what is wrong with you? You're such like a closet deviant. Right, guys. If you want to revisit either of these activities from today, then please let me know in the chat, because I might finish these in my own time. I'm not back to work at my proper job until Monday, so I do have time to spend. I do want to finish my page in Godule, which I'm going to show you because I've done a wee bit since the last time we looked at it. So I've gotten on quite well with the lollipops and the sweets. I've not got much left to do, so I really want to finish that. That's kind of like a priority for me. But now that's me started 2 more projects, and I think this is going to turn into something quite cool. I'm just not quite sure what the final thing looks like yet, but that's half the fun. That's why we do it. Thea wants to see this get finished. Okay. Oh, you're welcome, Yana. The page needs finishing. Like, everything needs finished. But yeah, that was really good fun. I had a really good time. I'm surprised at how many of you are here as well. I wasn't expecting this many in the turnout. So thanks for spending time with me, guys. It's been great. Still think it looks like a zombie. Right, okay. We'll do something with it. Right, okay, so we might revisit this in maybe another Wednesday stream. Might even make a video out of it. Who knows? All good. Right, okay guys, thank you very much, and I shall leave it off here. For the interim period, I am planning on starting the next Cave Discoveries video. All being well, there will be a Wednesday live stream next week. I'm a bit kind of unsure because we're waiting to hear for Mama Gem for surgery and stuff. So I mean, January is going to be a bit kind of like we'll just take it as it comes, but I will put content out. I have another video that I would like to film apart from the Cave Discoveries one, so that's kind of what I'm focusing on. But now obviously we've got Mr. Chubs and we've got this to focus on as well, so maybe some of that as well. Anyway, enjoy the rest of your New Year's Day, and I hope that this has maybe inspired you to get your art supplies out and start something. Like, start strong. Even if you don't know what it's going to be or what it is, it doesn't matter. Just get your paints out. Like, I've had a great time. I've dozens of pencils lying about and loads of tubes of paint. Had good fun. Talked about space squirrels and one thing and another. Standard conversations here. So, you know, if you've maybe been thinking to yourself, oh, I really should get my pencils out or my paints out, just go do it. It doesn't matter. Even if you don't create anything meaningful, it's the journey. It's the journey. And if you need someone to talk to you about space squirrels, I'm right here. Jan, on with the Lego. Okay guys, thank you so much. I'll see you again really soon back in the cave. Happy New Year again, everyone. Bye.